So a lot of people commented that they wanted to see my Raiden build after yesterday's video talking about Raiden's burst. Now I do have to make a correction for that video from yesterday before we look at my Raiden. So in that video, I show how much damage Raiden's burst does with 0 resolve stacks and then fully charged resolve stacks. And I tried to make them as even as possible, but I forgot to do something on the fully charged one. Whenever you use Raiden's skill, it will give a damage increase to the burst based on the energy cost of the burst. I did that on the 0 stacks. I did not do that on the full stacks. So in the original video, the full stack hits in the 80,000. But if we do it here, where we do her E first and then we do her burst, we are going to get 93,896 on the crit. That is a 30k damage difference versus what I said in yesterday's video of 20k. And with that correction done, let's look at my Raiden build. So my Raiden is level 90 out of 90 with a little over 1900 attack and 37 EM. Her crit split is 54.4 over 169.7 with 227.1 energy recharge. Now I do have an Electro Goblet on her, so that is at 97.4%. I am running an R5 The Catch at level 90, and because of its passive, increasing the elemental burst crit rate by 12%, her actual split on her burst, which is where the majority of Hypercarry Raiden's damage comes from, is going to be 66.4, not 54.4. So for artifacts, I am running a 4-piece emblem, which is the standard set for Hypercarry Raiden. So here is her flower. Energy recharge 6.5%, crit damage 17.9, crit rate 5.8, and 37 EM. That's where that little bit of EM is coming from. If you see over here, I do have other flowers from the emblem set. These are all of Raiden's old flowers that then go to like Sara or Xiangling. For her plume, crit damage 18.7, crit rate 10.9, energy recharge 6.5, and HP percent. If that had been attack percent, that would have been perfect. This is actually a very good plume, and I'm very, very happy with how this one rolled. And as you can see, Sara did get another reject. We'll look at Sara's artifacts later in the video. So because I am using the catch and not engulfing, I am running an attack sands with 13.6 crit rate, 15.5 crit damage. This is my highest crit value artifact, and it goes on Raiden. Now you notice her off piece is the sands. For her goblet, we have an electro damage goblet with attack percent, crit rate, crit damage. This one could be a lot better. I'm interested to see if I can get a better electro damage bonus goblet later on though. For her circlet, she is running a crit damage circlet with crit rate, attack percent, energy recharge. I think this is my weakest artifact set because some of those rolls did go into HP percent. If I could get a new crit damage circlet with better rolls into crit rate and ER, that would be phenomenal. That would improve my Raiden a ton and move it higher in the leaderboards on Akasha. Right now, she is currently at top 10% for Hypercarry with the catch. She is C0 and hit 511k. Her talents are 2, 5, 10. I have crowned her burst. So that is my Raiden right there. Let me know what you think of her down in the comments. That being said, let's get into Sara. Sara is level 90 out of 90 with 1800 attack, 282 EM. She does have an EM sands because I do not have an ER or attack percent sands on emblem. Her crit split is 55.8 with 171, 140 energy recharge, and an unleveled electro damage goblet. She can still break 100k with her burst. Skyward Harp, level 90, R1. Again, running 4-piece emblem set with her, so that way she can use her burst more often. Here is her current flower. Here is her current plume. Here is her current elemental mastery sands with some good rolls in crit damage and attack percent. An unleveled electro damage goblet, and a crit damage circlet with crit rate and attack percent being the off piece. This Sara can be built a lot better, a lot stronger. I need an ER or attack sands. Sara is C6 with her skill being crowned, so that way you get the full attack buff. Now let's go to Chevy. 42,800 HP, which is the most important stat for this support Chevy for healing. And once you get above 40k HP, you get the max attack buff. Crit split, not too good, 25 over 109. Energy recharge, 142, which is actually pretty good for her, so that way she can use her burst more often. Am running a level 90 black tassel. The R5 does not matter on that. For artifacts, I am running 2-piece. Half of these artifacts will be going to Nilou whenever I get Nilou. I am currently trying to get a Song of Days Past 4-piece set for her to try and get Raiden's damage up more. HP percent on the rolls, which is what we want. This does not have HP percent, but it is still like a pretty decently rolled. That's where a lot of her energy recharge is coming from. HP percent, this is actually like a really solid artifact for Chevy, and she will keep this as I'm trying to get Songs of Days Past for her. This is a really good piece. On her goblet, of course, HP percent, with it being a tenacity piece, is great. HP percent on a VG, also great. The crit rate, crit damage is actually pretty good. I like that. These will all go to Neely whenever I get her. She is C0. It took me 201 wishes to get C0 Chevy. I was not able to get C6. If I had C6, Raiden would be doing more damage. Her talent's 166. Doesn't necessarily matter for Chevy. That was just to increase her damage a little bit to help in the Abyss. So now we're going to look at my Benny, who is level 90 out of 90 with 1600 attack and 21,000 max HP. Definitely a buffing Benny. His crit split is 36 over 190 with energy recharge being 190, and he does have a pyro goblet on him to get a little bit of damage out of it. Running level 90 Mist Splitter, this will go to Kaching as soon as I get Kaching. And for artifacts, he is running 4-piece Noblesse. His flower, his artifacts aren't like too impressive. Bennett is probably like the least built out of all of my characters that I have on this team, but he can still hit 80k burst, which is phenomenal. So all in all, the only good piece on him is this goblet, which actually belongs to my Dia, but I took it off of Dia for Benny for running the Abyss. And then his circlet isn't too bad. Attack percent, crit rate. If it would have rolled crit rate there, that would have been much, much better. He is C6. I did C6 my Benny, and I have not regretted it. And his burst is crowned, so I can get the maximum amount of attack buff from his burst. That is my whole party that I use for Hyper Carry Raiden, running the Chevy variant instead of Kazuha. 1, I don't have Kazuha. 2, Chevy still gives the shred of Electro to the enemy that you would get with Kazuha's VV set, and Chevy also gives an attack buff, and she does a little bit of healing. So as soon as I did get Chevy on Wish 201, I knew that I was going to build Hyper Carry Raiden. I am just lucky that it has actually gone fairly well and that this team is actually fairly well built. I do use this in the Abyss, and this team is one of the teams that I have 36 starred the Abyss with, and I absolutely love it. This will definitely be one of my most common teams that I use. It is so much fun. I do love the Hyper Carry Raiden. I do use Kuki for Hyper Bloom, so I was able to put Raiden over into the Hyper Carry status and build her that way. That is going to be it for this video. I am going to be releasing Yae Miko's beginner guide later today, so we're going to have 2 videos today. So do be sure to look forward to that video as well, and I will see you in the next one.